Hi Leo and Leo Rising, this is your January 2017 forecast. So happy new year, and let's see what January has in store for you. So until the 20th of January, the sun is going to be in your 6th house, and this is the house of work and health. So this is where you get serious. You want to be organized and efficient in matters relating to work and health. So this is all about improving your routine, focusing on those details that make up the whole. So getting organized in the office, getting organized in terms of health and taking responsibility there. So this, especially with Mercury retrograde in the 6th house until the 8th of January, this is time for collecting data, doing the research, seeing what changes you can make. And of course, when Mercury goes direct, it's all about implementing those changes. So the sun in the 6th, it's all about managing duties and responsibilities. So you want to postpone immediate gratification. It also helps you take pride in the work that you do to offer an excellent service, which really precedes the sun going into the 7th house from the 20th of January, where the focus is on consulting, partnerships, and all significant one-on-one interactions. So with Mercury in the 6th, this is very good for mental work. It's good for work skills and techniques, so developing these. It's also very good for working out problems in the workspace, having those conversations. It gives you a degree of detachment. So Mercury here can show a lot of investment and energy in matters relating to health and routine as well. So this is where you like I said, you want to focus on working out the details of a new diet or fitness plan. You want to organize things in the office to make things more efficient. And so when Mercury goes direct, you can implement the results of that research. So Venus and Mars are going to be together in your 8th house this month. So the 8th house is that house of joint resources, finances, investments. It can show money coming in. With Venus in the 8th, it can show your partner's finances receiving a boost or money coming in from investments. So you can attract more money in this way. With Venus in the 8th, it's also a good time to take out a loan. Though Mars traditionally doesn't indicate this, Venus should temper that influence a bit. It can also, Venus and Mars together in the 8th can really give intimacy and close personal relationships a boost. So a lot of close connection being fostered with this placements. So, and love relationships that start when these two planets are in the 8th house can definitely be more intense for their duration. So Mars in the 8th house, this being the house of joint resources and finances, can show some disagreement with regards to management of joint resources. So you and a partner may disagree, and there may be some conflict. With Venus and Mars in the 8th, it can show perhaps one or both of you spending extravagantly and some disagreement about how money is being spent. And Mars in the 8th can also show potentially meeting someone who's got a very powerful effect on you. This can be love, chemistry, or someone who's going to transform your way of thinking. The 8th house is that house of fears and anxieties of the mind, so hidden things can come up at this time, and it's a good time for using this energy to resolve those issues in a kind of sympathetic and compassionate way. So from the 20th of January, the sun will be in your 7th house for a month, and that's going to put the spotlight on partnerships, and this is spousal and business partnerships. If you consult, it tends to be a very busy period consulting. The sun gives you that magnetism and authority, so it favors, so you've got kind of appeal, direct appeal, authority and magnetism with regards to consulting with other people. The sun in the 7th is also a very good time to seek out professional or specialist advice in any area, and you won't want to go it alone. This is the house of partnerships, other people, so it's where you kind of correlate your needs, interests, and objectives with partners in your life. So make sure that you're on the same page, look at the give and take, look at whether partnerships are satisfying, and work to get the issues within these resolved. So let's look at what else is happening this month. We've got a very practical and pragmatic and goal-orientated moon in Capricorn happening in your 6th house, the house of work and health. The sun and moon are conjunct Mercury, so you're really threshing out ideas, gathering information, trying to ascertain how you feel about something with regards to work or health. So this is about getting organized, getting efficient, sorting out the details, taking care of old business. The sextile to Mars can also show the energy to implement the goals that you're setting up for yourself right now. So teamwork, group activity also favored. So getting along well with work colleagues. So those work and health goals, you want to run with that energy, get those projects off the ground. Capricorn is very practical, earthy sign, so it's all about careful planning, strategy. So very good for those New Year's resolutions and getting them off the ground. So on the 1st of January, you've got Mars conjuncting Neptune in your 8th house. And this aspect can have one feeling a little bit off color. Mars and Neptune together, although quite a good creative placement, can show possibly the results of intoxication or inebriation, which results at this time of year, certainly. So I'm feeling a little bit gloomy and off color. So you'll want to avoid activities that aren't that good for you, the Neptunian varieties. So not too much drinking, eating, indulging, a little bit less of that for a couple of days. This is also a very good placement for selfless service and charity, so you can choose to use this energy in the sense of extending a helping hand. So on the 7th, we've got the Sun conjuncting Pluto in your 6th house, and in the 6th house of work, this can sometimes show up as power struggles. The Sun and Pluto together can show a clashing of horns, situations can become a little bit disproportionate. You may find yourself on the wrong side of somebody in authority. So this is a very creative or destructive energy, so best to keep your head low. On the 10th of January, we've got the Sun squaring Uranus, and this can show disruptions and upsets to routine, this being in the house of work and health for you. So things can happen that are unexpected, again, possible disagreements and conflicts. One can also be a little bit more accident prone, and so there could be some disruption to travel, study, or work plans. So the full moon this month is going to be in your 12th house, and this is really the house where we want to flash things out of our life. With that emphasis in the 6th earlier, the focus is on organization and efficiency, and this is where you really want to look at what's working in your life and what isn't. So getting rid of those things that aren't working for you anymore, taking a little bit of time to make decisions around those things, so flashing things that aren't good for you out. At the same time, there's very beneficial aspects to Jupiter with this transit, so you're feeling very optimistic about plans that you're making and projects that you're developing with regards to self-improvement. So on the 19th, we've got a difficult aspect. Mars is squaring Saturn, so the two malefics are going at each other, and this is when you want to proceed slowly, cautiously, and be very careful. So for you can find your efforts blocked by circumstances and other people. People in authority can also be a little bit intimidating, and perhaps you're feeling unappreciated and a bit angry. So another transit where you'll just want to be slow, methodical, and careful, and definitely keep your head down. But expect some frustration, but this aspect will pass. So on the 20th, we've got the Sun moving into your 7th house of partnerships. So this is very good for consulting, as I've indicated. So seeking out professional advice, looking for advice from other people, working on your partnerships. So, you don't want to go it alone when the Sun is in the 7th. You want to look, to develop your partnerships, have conversations, to strengthen those ties and connections. And as I said, seek out specialist advice. So look for other people to resolve your problems, and a very good and busy time for you if you're a consultant in any capacity. And so on the 20th, we've got Venus sextiling Pluto between your 8th and your 6th house. And this aspect could help you feel more connected to the colleagues and people that you work with. Venus and Pluto together always intensify feelings of love and affection. So for some, this might be an office romance. For others, it could just be feeling more connected and more integrated and a sense of harmony and well-being. So good for taking relationships a bit deeper, especially for you with work colleagues. So on the 23rd, we've got Mercury sextiling Neptune. And this aspect really stimulates the imagination and, so it has you thinking very creatively. And for you, because the house of work is involved once again, good for creative work that you need to do. It's not so good for rational thinking. So perhaps around this time, you'll want to put your efforts into more creative avenues because logical processes won't be at a premium. So the new moon happening in that 7th house in Aquarius, and this being that placement of consulting and partnerships. So this is all about negotiation, diplomacy, because you're looking at the give and take within partnerships. It's what other people bring to the table, what you bring to the table, looking at things are fair and equitable. So developing partnerships, so the energy to run with partnerships at this time is good for 2 weeks. So this, for some of you, this could also be the impulse to make a relationship public. So perhaps something's been developing on the side and now you decide you're confident in it, you're going to make a public announcement. So on the 29th, we've got Mercury conjuncting Pluto in your 6th house. And this is very good for research, investigation, for getting to the bottom of things. It's very good for focused mental activities. So for you, this in the area of work and health can show, some serious, penetrating work, penetrating insights. So use this if you've got some intellectual tasks to tackle or an issue that you need to get to the bottom of. So on the 31st, we've got Mercury squaring Uranus between your 6th and 9th house. And again, this one, though good for mental stimulation and seeking out new things, it does highlight the need to be flexible because, Uranus can add that rashness and scattered thinking sometimes. So you may be feeling a bit nervous, a bit impulsive, a bit over hasty. You may also say something that you regret. And for you, this could be in the office space. So just be a little bit more careful. One's prone to be more susceptible to accidents at this time. And so the month ends with Mars going into your 9th house in Aries, where it's very strong, adventurous, and bold. So this is all about broadening your horizons, for doing things that, make your life more meaningful and significant. So Mars is very hungry for new experiences, bound to be very gratified by travel, by study, by all kinds of new experiences. So feeling adventurous and feeling brave. If you've enjoyed this forecast, please like and subscribe, and thanks so much for listening.